Welcome to episode 356 of the Shared Security Podcast. And this week, we're going to talk about how deepfake technology now accounts for 24% of attempts to bypass advanced motion-based biometric checks. And Kevin is just laughing for no reason.
Oh, I have reasons.
I know, but we know.
Yeah.
We'll get there. And so this is obviously a growing issue when talking about identity fraud. And then we're going to talk about our good friends, those data brokers that love to sell location data to now track U.S. military personnel in Germany. Or it doesn't have to be Germany. It could be actually anywhere. But this is really continuing that conversation of data brokers who we just love those guys. They're doing so much for society. Just like, well, never mind. I won't go there.
You want me to just interrupt you over and over again, don't you?
Yes. This is going, yeah. Anyway, look who's back. It's Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good.
And I'm in my
I missed you last week.
shirt, so we can just stomp all over.
Oh, sweet.
Stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I missed you last week after I hit the big red button on my Twitter account and deleted everything.
Yeah. Well, never mind. I can't say what I was about to. I can't say.
No.
That. I was about to say something and it's never mind.
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah. I have not deleted my Twitter account, and I don't think I'm going to anytime soon. And
okay.
That is very specifically because there are certain things on Twitter that I get from it that are not yet on Blue Sky.
Fair.
And so and I will acknowledge that the things I get from Twitter are stupid. They are. I follow a couple groups, Twitter accounts where they share stupid videos, and I laugh at them. Like videos like idiots at work who were doing something and fell over or whatever. Yeah. I am a fourth grade little boy when I
non-infosec stuff.
Yeah. And I've not seen those yet on Blue Sky. When they move over, I'll be off of Twitter entirely. But until I can get my fail army videos on
there you go
on Blue Sky.
There you go.
I'm really happy.
But it is pretty amazing. Like, yeah, a lot of people have moved over to Blue Sky. Like, this is definitely the migration that. Remember when this all happened after Elon first took over Twitter? Everyone went over to Mastodon, and we thought, oh, maybe this is it, right? Well, that didn't last very long, but I feel different about this one.
Here's why I think it's different. And I'm on Mastodon, and I like it.
Mm-hmm, me too.
But you use it differently.
Yes,
so
very
the
differently.
Switch from Twitter to Mastodon was a user experience difference, and I don't. That's probably the wrong phrase. It's not the button to post moved. It's what the focus is. I find Mastodon better for chatting, for the lack of a better term. You know what I mean? Like and I don't use it very often. Blue Sky, I actually got an invite when it was in the private thing. And so I created that account that I'm using a while ago. Now it is funny. You remember when I tried to do a non-work named Twitter account and I had Darth Kevin?
Yes.
So there is a Darth Kevin on Blue Sky, and it's not me, and they're not pretending to be me. Right, it's
just another account.
Just somebody else. And I thought that was funny because Darth Kevin was available on Twitter, but not on Blue Sky. And I thought that was funny. But I find that the interface to Blue Sky, not just the interface, the way I use it is exactly the same as how I use Twitter. Mm-hmm. The only difference is there isn't an algorithm bubbling things up to me. And I will admit, now keep in mind, I am the person who likes personalized advertising experiences. I like that algorithm. Yes, there are times it just totally screws up and sends me stuff like I don't need the MAGA crap that I get through that algorithm. But there is enough pearls in the muck that the algorithm is worthwhile to me. And what I'm finding is, as I'm connecting to more people on Blue Sky, what your friends are following acts somewhat like the algorithm.
It does.
It's better because it's what
much
people,
better.
You know what I mean? Like and I'll pick on you, right? I'm following you. And so if you start following stuff, it bubbles up there. So it's just slightly different. But I think that's why Blue Sky is probably going to do better at the exodus than Mastodon. And I should have been on the podcast last week to say all this instead of saying it. So,
that's okay. That's okay. So if you haven't checked out last week's podcast, that was me talking about deleting my Twitter account. And actually, I walked through the procedure that I went through of getting the archive and doing all of that. So if you want to check that out, we'll link that in the show notes. But for today, let's talk about deepfake fraud. So this new survey,
marketing, that's bullshit.
Well,
oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
That it may be.
It's not really marketing BS. It's factual.
There is a little bit of research behind it.
Yes.
But what do you think of this?
I think it's useless to most people.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fair.
This is interesting to people like you and I. Here's a company that is monitoring a lot of interactions and verifications and are saying
Entrust is the company.
Oh yeah, Entrust. Sorry. I don't know why I didn't say that. They see a significant number of deep fakes that are pretending to be somebody for verification. And I did find it interesting that it shows the effort necessary that if it's just the selfie verification, the number of deep fakes go way down. I think it said 5% instead of 24%, if I'm getting the numbers right. But it's for the like I just had to do it, where you like face it and turn your head and then turn your head the other way. And
got to show your ID and then,
And I find it funny interesting because I, as you can tell by looking at me that I have facial hair now and my ID does not. And
you're a deepfake.
I am a deepfake. And I just had to go through a verification and it worked fine, even though the ID did not match, which I thought was interesting, right? But bluntly, I think the issue I have with this and why I feel like this is closer to marketing BS than research paper is, one, the scope of what they looked at it's very similar to the Verizon DBIR. The Verizon DBIR is all Verizon customers, right? Not the world. It's what Verizon was called in to do an incident, right? Okay, that's where their data set is. That's a very biased data set. I would believe that Entrust's data set is similarly biased toward high-value targets, organizations that are going to be attacked more than other organizations. That's why they went with something like Entrust. And that's cool. I think that's good for Entrust, right?
I agree.
But I don't think this type of data, and we've talked about this before, I'm very, very hesitant about the sheer amount of, oh my God, deep fakes we hear every day on stage at security conferences and webinars and mass mailing spam that I get that come join us to discuss with our CEO how the deep fakes have changed the world. And until you can show me, this is similar, and I don't mean to get political, but this is similar to the jackass House of Representatives, where the first publicly transgendered woman is elected, and all of a sudden it's a friggin' emergency that they need to pass a rule that you're only going to use the bathroom of your biological sex. By the way, I want to be very clear, if it's not clear, that every single person who supports that rule should be set on fire. It is performative crap. And in my opinion, Entrust's blog, paper, or whatever is close to the same type of performative crap. Because the vast majority of people don't care, aren't going to care, and can't do anything about it if they did.
Right?
And this answer of, and I know like the article talks about, well, the recommendation is that developers who are maintaining this stuff or organizations that are using this stuff should think about deepfakes. Okay, cool. I thought about them. What now?
But they don't offer any solution. All right, no. I know. It's a more complex issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point that I thought this article was interesting for people to check out, was that it does get you thinking of, these are newer types of fraud, whether or not they are, relevant.
And I tangented us
right
and
now.
Then never explained why the tangent was relevant.
Explain.
I am cool with you passing some rule about any type of bathroom if you can prove that you have solved every other issue out there. I'm going to worry about the deepfake issue. And by the way, I want to be clear. I don't think the bathroom thing is an issue. I don't want that to come out that Kevin thought the bathroom thing was an issue. I don't. It's only an issue because jackasses are talking about it. Yes. The deepfake thing is the same thing. Until you can tell me that you have convinced Joe to double check the person he's talking to on the phone before he sends money. Until we fix that problem, I don't care about deepfakes. Deepfake is just another way we can trick people. Like we do it all the time. You've done it as a pen tester. I do it as a pen tester. We call somebody and we go, hey, me. I will get on a call and say, hi, I'm Ann. I need to reset Ann's password. And I meant my password. And they do it. Right?
Of course.
The number of times.
You don't even need complex technology.
No. The number of times I've been on a phishing call and used the wrong name in the conversation and still
and they get it anyway. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Deepfakes are deepfakes. They're awesome and bad. And I think I agree with you 100%. It is interesting to read. It is interesting to look at.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's my opinion. Sorry.
Okay. So moving on to data brokers. Wow, that's a great segue into another topic.
I got plenty of answers about data brokers.
Oh, I know. But for a limited amount of time that we do have, this was another one. I definitely recommend people reading this if you are interested in continuing the conversation that we've been talking about around data brokers. And I thought this was really interesting. We've had this conversation over, remember Strava?
Damn it. I was just going to say, Strava, anyone?
Yes. So this was several years ago that U.S. military personnel were being tracked through their Strava activities. So when they go on a run or when they're going in, back and forth from the barracks and they're tracking location that way, this is actually tracking military personnel through their devices, but through a third-party data broker, which just so happens to be selling the data that essentially when you use a website or when you use an application on your phone, these data brokers are harvesting these little bits of information, and then they can now sell this to news agencies or nation states, and you can figure out where people are going, especially if you're surveilling a highly secured military facility or area, such as in Germany, where they're doing tests of new military technology, and also the spying threat, right? Where apparently they've tracked people going to local brothels, which, by the way, is illegal in the military. Like, you can't do that according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So we all know about the threats of spies in maybe those said locations. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. I would definitely recommend people checking it out. And, this is kind of advancing the threat that we've always said that data brokers pose. And of course, our friends in the U.S. government have done nothing about that and will probably continue to do nothing.
And I have the solution.
What is the solution?
Do you remember Letters of Marque? M-A-R-Q-U-E? Think back to pirate times.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Pirate times.
Yes.
I am on a pirate ship.
So,
yes.
No. You were not on a pirate ship. You were a privateer.
Oh, a privateer.
Remember?
Right.
And you could get a letter of marque from your government. So basically the government would say, like England would say, you know what? Screw the French. And they would issue these letters of marque to captains. And that captain was now a mercenary for the government, and they were allowed to sink French. They weren't allowed to sink other ships.
No,
if they sank a different ship, they were a pirate. But if they sank one that their government approved. So I personally believe that the government should just issue letters of marque against all data brokers, and we should be not to steal the data, but to destroy the data. We should
to sink them.
Yeah. Yes. We should be allowed to sink data brokers. And I know this is not a popular opinion, but absolutely.
I like it.
We have the debate about hacking back. I think that we should have mercenary groups that are allowed to break into data broker companies, burn them to the ground. And now you have to agree that you won't steal the data, that you won't do something with the data. You just, your letter of marque is to destroy the data, and that's it. I think this is a solution.
Well, there you have it, folks. The most unhinged episode of Shared Security.
This is not unhinged.
No.
Okay, maybe
this is just Kevin at his finest. That's all.
Hey, what other podcast about security can you get into that the recommendation is let's be privateers?
This is a great point.
Yeah.
This is a great point.
I'm in.
Yes.
I am in.
Heck yeah.
Hey,
Heck
U.S.
yeah.
government, Tom and I volunteer for the first letter of mark.
Ahoy. Excellent.
Oh,
all
man.
right. Well, I think we're going to end on that. So thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, stay safe, stay secure, and stay private. Thank you for watching or listening this episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you like to get your podcasts. Visit sharedsecurity.net for merch, previous episodes, and more. If you'd like to help support the podcast, join our Patreon to get ad-free episodes and many more exclusive supporter-only benefits. Visit sharedsecurity.net/supporter for more details.